My name is Elizabeth Castle. I am a Behavioural Insights Manager at the Department for Education. My role at the Department of Education is to lead a small team of behavioural scientists where we apply practices and approaches from behavioural science across the work of the Department for Education. The benefits to the Department for Education of hosting Sophie was one, simply just having kind of extra capacity. We are a small team of only 3 behavioural scientists, so having a whole extra person on the team was an amazing resource. But beyond that, having a PhD student coming in to support the team was brilliant because Sophie was incredibly smart, incredibly enthusiastic, and was really motivated to do a great job. Having her there, I was able to give her a project which she worked on autonomously. She worked with a team that we'd wanted to work with for a long time but hadn't had the capacity to do so. So she worked with a team looking at how to help schools to be more financially efficient, and specifically looking at how you can encourage schools to take up the best deals for their energy and their insurance. And it was just brilliant having her able to kind of lead that project and take that project forward. Sophie brought an incredible amount of knowledge of her area of work to the placement, and this was definitely one of the specific skills that she brought. Beyond that, I think that the kind of remit of our team is a behavioural science team, so we draw on approaches from a multitude of different disciplines from across social sciences and beyond. So having somebody who is a real expert in their area come in and show us the ways that she would work, the kind of approaches and the practices that she would take to projects, and then building those into the way that we worked was really beneficial for us. Beyond that, I think particularly we found with Sophie and with other PhD students that we've hosted that they bring very good project management skills. It's something that you have to have when you're kind of managing your own research project and doing a PhD. So bringing that into the workplace was a real benefit for the team. And I guess the other thing that really stood out for me about Sophie was that she was very good at working with other teams and showing them how the practices and the approaches that she would take could be then disseminated within the team, and how that team could then use those practices and approaches. So the team that she was working with, looking at school financial efficiencies, have picked up a lot of the practices and the processes that she kind of taught to them, and are now building them into the way that they worked. The impact that Sophie has had on my team specifically has been to really open the door up to a different way of working and a different way of thinking about the problems, a totally different discipline within academia. She has also been excellent at making connections with academics and showing us how we can work with academics to further improve the team and the way that we work. For the team that she was then supporting as part of her main project, so this was a team looking at the financial efficiencies within schools, they have built new processes and practices into the way that they worked and are working now. They also have been so enthusiastic about the work that they were doing with Sophie that they've set up a smaller working group to kind of continue the legacy of Sophie's work. Now she's back at Durham. And beyond that, I guess the real impact of the work that she will have been doing with that team is that they will be putting in approaches and I don't want to say practices again, but ways of working and interventions and the way that they support schools, which will ultimately help schools to be more financially efficient and to save money. So if another business asked me whether they should host a research placement, I would say absolutely do it. I think we've had such a great experience hosting Sophie, and the work that she's done has just been amazing, that I would just say, go for it. If I was going to give one piece of advice, I guess it would be that you only have this person for 3 months. So really think about how you're going to use that person best within that 3 months. So for Sophie, we had a very clear project for her. We introduced her on day 1 to the team that she was going to be supporting in the department. We gave her the kind of background reading that she needed. And throughout the project, we're very clear about the types of milestones and the things that we're expecting across the project. So I would say that you will get the best out of somebody if you put the best into that placement. So really thinking about what you're going to want out of that 3 months would be the best piece of advice. It's also, I guess, worth mentioning that post-placement, we've continued working with Sophie. So she's come back to do her PhD, but she's still in contact with us and kind of working with us on a lot of projects. And specifically, one of the things that we're really pushing within the research community within the Department for Education is trying to use more randomised control trials and these kind of very robust way of doing evaluation, which Sophie has a huge amount of experience in, and she's actually writing a kind of advice piece that will be disseminated to all the researchers across DFE to show them like what a good trial looks like and how to do a trial. So I think it's probably worth noting that yes, you have this kind of 3-month period, but you've built a relationship with this person that then goes beyond the placement. I think that's probably important for people to know.